They have high quality custom video assets. They're not using stock imagery, stock photos, stock videos or anything, stock media on their website.
We do that for our clients, right? Sometimes we do use stock videos and things like that.
They have their financing partners lined up. They have multiple options. They have a process for presenting this treatment, diagnosing this treatment, who's going to talk to them when. That is all buttoned up and in place. And one of the biggest differences we see, some of the projects that come to us, well, like I said, doesn't have to be super refined, right? Also perfect, but they're coming to us and they have some holes there. We just need somebody that can help take the burden off of our front desk so that we can better treat these patients, be prepared for them. And that's where SMC meshed with them so seamlessly.
Welcome to another episode of the Full Arch Advantage podcast. I'm your host, Gary Bird. I'm the founder of SMC National, where we help you create, convert, and close more full arch cases so you can grow the way that you want. And today, I have Jack, who's the director of marketing for our company, SMC. And he manages millions and millions of dollars and understands what it takes to drive in more full arch cases into your office. And today we're actually going to be talking about an office I'm really excited about. They have over 1,000 to 1 ROI on their marketing dollars. For every dollar they're putting in, they're getting $1,000 back, which is really, really good. And they've actually, their marketing budget was, $13,000 or somewhere in that ballpark. And they were able to get over $150,000. Is that right, Jack? Am I getting that right? They invested $13,000 into marketing.
115, yeah.
150. Okay, so they invested $115,000. This is crazy ROI, right? How did this happen? And we're going to talk through this today. What happened with them? How did they get this kind of ROI? And first of all, let's talk about, Jack, how long did it take to set up to see that kind of ROI?
Yeah, great question. So they hit a 10 to 1 ROI, 1,000% ROI in only their 4th month of marketing. You keep in mind, this is after 3 months of very positive ROI, 4 to 1 ROI, 5 to 1 ROI, 2 to 1 ROI. So still very positive. But yeah, it jumped to in month 4, and that's typically after the first 90 days, we start to see a really optimized campaign, a 10 to 1 or 1,000% return on investment.
Which is nuts, right? Like, we're not out here telling people, hey, we're going to get you a 1,000% ROI,
of course not.
But it happens. It does happen. And people,
yes.
This is a perfect example. Now, let's talk through some of the keys to success. What were the main, like if someone's out there listening right now thinking, man, I want to add full arch to my practice, or, I'm not doing that many arches anymore because my referrals are down and I want to really start marketing. What are some of the keys to success that made this possible for them to see that kind of growth?
Yeah, excellent question. So there's a handful, and I'm not going to do these in order of like what's most important to least. I'm just going to say, hey, these are all the key ingredients that this practice had that enabled them to be successful. So let's start with the first thing, is they have high quality custom video assets, right? They're not using stock imagery, stock photos, stock videos or anything, stock media on their website. Everything is high quality produced imagery so that when you're asking people, driving people to your website, ask them to come to your office and spend $15,000, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000. From your online presence, they're getting this perception that you're a very high end. You do this. This is not your first rodeo.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so they invested in that. And besides just having that on your website and being able to educate, answer these people's questions, position yourself as an expert, now you can use that same content and put it in all your ads and all your advertising that's going out as well. So you're standing out from above the rest of your market and your competition, because a lot of people won't do that. They'll use some templated stock ads that everybody else.
Hey, sorry to interrupt the show, but we're going to do a quick segment that I think will bring you a ton of value, and we're calling it Ask Gary. So we have people who are sending in their questions to askgary@smcnational.com, or they're DMing us or dropping them in the comments below. And today's question comes from Craig, and he asked this: is direct mail marketing making a comeback? And this is a great question. And what most people don't realize about direct mail marketing is that it never went away. There's always a time or an opportunity for it, but you got to understand how it works. So I'm just going to give you the basic economics of direct mail. There's always going to be a cost associated with it because you got to print a tangible thing and then you got to distribute it. So there's always going to be that cost with it. However, if you're the only person in your market doing direct mail, then it will work. Here's the tricky part though. What happens is people see that you're sending direct mail, other competitors see that you're sending direct mail, and then they copy you and they send the same thing. So before, if you were sending postcard out to, let's say, 10,000 homes, and let's say you're getting 40 new patients from it, then the next person that sends out with you, they're going to copy you. They're going to do something similar. Now you're only going to get 20 patients from it. And then other people are going to see that you two are doing it. So of course they got to do it too. And then they're going to cut you down. Now you're only getting about 13 new patients. And then somebody else is going to copy it. Now you're getting 10 and so on and so forth. To the next thing you know, it seems like everybody in that market is sending postcards and nobody's getting results from it. So the trick is trying to figure out in your market when other people aren't going to be sending postcards. And if no one's sending postcards, then it'll work great. But if everybody's sending postcards, then it doesn't work. You have to realize that most people are going to go and search you online. So if you're sending out postcards and you don't have Google reviews, you don't have your website set up properly, you don't have your phone answering set up, you're at the national average of 35% unanswered call rate, then none of it's going to work anyway. So really understanding the foundation of internet marketing is really the most important thing to understand when it comes to direct mail marketing.
Let's talk through that because sometimes we do that for our clients, right? Sometimes we do use stock videos and things like that.
100%.
Let me explain why we do that. A lot of times people are like, I want to save money up front. So I'm not as interested in investing as much money. I want to save money. And that's fine.
Yeah.
We'll do it, right? If that's what they want.
100%.
But we explain to them, it will impact your ROI. You don't have as high of a roof. And these kinds of situations are what we're talking about, correct?
100%. Yeah. We're not saying that these are prerequisites to get an ROI, period. This is why we're able to get a 10-to-1 ROI, 1,000% ROI at this practice. These are some of the ingredients that really go and allow you to have that, that really limitless potential when it comes to marketing.
Got it.
So
okay. So
that's number one.
Why don't you tell us number two? What's number two?
Yeah. So next is this practice. They had a really dialed in sales process and sales training. So they have been through consulting and they have been through just kind of sales process, sales training, so that they're not rookies when it comes to the fact of, okay, somebody is coming to our practice. They scheduled their consultation for full arch. They're not trying to figure it out as they go. They have super clear processes in place. They've gone to some consultants. They've done some work and they have that all ready to go. They have their financing partners lined up. They have multiple options. They have a process for presenting this treatment, diagnosing this treatment, who's going to talk to them when. That is all buttoned up in place. And one of the biggest differences we see, some of the practices that come to us, well, like I said, doesn't have to be super refined, right? Also perfect, but they're coming to us and they have some holes there, right? They have some holes in like, okay, is it the doctor presenting the treatment? Is it the TC? Are we doing it in the chair? Are we doing it in a different room, right? All those things. Do we have stair-stepped options or is it just one price and that's it? Yes or no? Will they have one financing partner? Do we have multiple, right? They have some of those in place, but maybe not all of them. And so I think that's the biggest difference there is that this practice had all of that in place and they just needed a marketing partner to throw some fuel on the fire.
That's really, really good. Okay, so number one is you need to have specialized videos that are made towards you to help your patients, make them specifically around what you're doing. And then number two is having your team ready for scripting and how you're going to handle these opportunities from a financial standpoint, having those conversations. And again, not to say that you can't do well if you just have a half-baked plan, but you're not going to see 1,000% ROI. And then what would you say is the next biggest thing?
Yeah, a couple more things. So the next thing is they knew exactly what they were looking for in a patient and they were able to communicate that to us, right? So they say, okay, we want our patients to have at least, because they've been around the block, they're not super new to it, right? We want our patients minimum to have this credit score, right? When you're scheduling the patients, you need to have this conversation, make sure that you just kind of have these things buttoned up and they check these boxes. And so, so far in the month of July, the month where we're having this 1,000-to-1 ROI, all of the consults that we've scheduled have shown 0 no-show, 100% show rate, which is insane. I mean, even for us, it's unheard of, right? Just being super transparent, but it's because they know exactly the type of patient they're looking for because they've done it before. We're able to really go target those patients, speak to that patient, and then when we schedule them, make sure we're checking off those boxes. So as far as overall volume that they're getting, right, it's maybe a little bit lower if you would look at the cost per acquisition, the cost per appointment generated or scheduled cost. It's maybe slightly higher than what you would look at the average of a lot of other practices, but these are very qualified because the practice knows exactly what it needs so that it's a qualified patient through the door because they've done that work and have their sales process all set up.
That's so awesome. Okay, anything else that you think the audience should be aware of? Like these are things you need to have in place to make sure you see an ROI like this?
Absolutely. And then they were just looking for a marketing partner that would help get them some bandwidth back. So when they came to us, they're like, look, we got things in place. We're ready to go. We got our assets. We got our sales process. We got all of that, our clinical process. We're ready to go. We just need somebody that can help take the burden off of our front desk so that we can better treat these patients, be prepared for them. And that's where SMC meshed with them so seamlessly. We're able to come in there, work with them, and instead of the leads inundating them, flooding them, and then having to do all that follow-up nurturing, our team can handle that. We know exactly what type of patient they're looking for, so we can have those conversations with these patients, schedule them, take a huge load off of their back, but that allows them to focus on now, okay, I don't have to worry about chasing these leads down. I can put more attention and more TLC into these patients that are coming through the door. And I think that's what allowed them to just excel, succeed so much in relatively a short amount of time.
That's awesome, man. Well, great job. Thank you so much for sharing these steps. As soon as I heard that, hey, this account, and what's crazy is we're only halfway through the month.
Yeah, exactly.
So by the time people listen to this,
we got 2 weeks to go.
Yeah, so there's 2 more weeks where they could actually end up doing a lot better. So as soon as you told me, hey, this account is just killing it, I wanted to get on here and talk through some of the things that were helping them do that and share it with the audience. So thanks so much for hopping on and giving us up-to-the-minute updates of what's going on out there in the market. And I'm really excited about the success that we're seeing. So great job, man.
Yep, thank you for having me on.